Ooh, you ask some hard, good
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
I want to make change. I don't want to do things just because we've always done them. Sometimes there is yucky stuff that you would rather not deal with. You would rather just move on. Whatever it is that makes you smile or makes you um, come to life, do that.
Kerry Hammon was born in southeast Idaho to Steve and Deb McCullough. Kerry is the youngest of one older sibling. From an early age, Kerry was raised with a very strong work ethic, from helping to build their family log house to taking care of over 200 rabbits to serving as a food service worker. With many more work in between, Kerry still had time to earn her associate's degree in applied science from the College of Eastern Idaho, furthering her education to then earn a bachelor's degree in business and information system management from the University of Phoenix. And the list goes on to now serving as the executive director for the Idaho Falls Downtown Development Corporation. Kerry has shown and proven what hard and dedicated work can do. And today, right here, right now, we sit down with Kerry Hammon for a candid Why Believe conversation that is sure to uplift and encourage us all to live a more fulfilling life. Well, thank you, Kerry, for being with us today on Why Believe Conversation. It's definitely a pleasure having you here, and congratulations on your new role as the executive director of the Idaho Falls Development
Downtown development. Yep.
Downtown
Yes,
Development
thank you.
Corporation. So thank you for being here today, and I know you have a busy schedule with your new role and your appointment. So this is an awesome pleasure for you being with us today on this beautiful day, June 24th, 2025, at Rock Garden. I guess it's Rock Garden.
The rock gardens at
Rock
Taylor
Garden.
Crossing. Yep.
And so we had mentioned another location also, but why is this location most important to you?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
This was top of mind to me because this is where my husband and I got married. So 9 years ago.
9 years.
9 years
Okay.
ago. So my husband's family, they had property, an uncle down here back in the day, and so he remembers coming to these to the edge here and fishing. And then I worked on the rock gardens through the Rotary Club
Okay.
as a Rotarian, and
Okay.
then when I worked for the city, I worked with Idaho Falls Parks and Rec. So this spot is just I don't know, special to me, and it's quiet. And my husband and I, when we ride bikes, we often come back here and stop here and have
Awesome.
lunch here. Or so
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. And I love nature also.
Hmm.
I write a little, and a lot of my writing is centered around nature. And so I thought this was befitting to have our interview here also, because we are just surrounded by beautiful grass, a beautiful tree. There's the Snake Belt
Hmm.
River
Hmm.
behind us, and I thought it was a great place. And so today we are just going to just talk about your life, the legacy perhaps that you would like to leave behind, and of course your new role as our executive director for downtown Idaho Falls. And so thank you again for being here.
Yeah,
So
my
we're going to
pleasure.
get started.
Okay,
So
fire
my
away.
my first question to you is, what is your favorite childhood memory
There's
and why?
so many.
If
Um,
you had to choose one.
Probably one would be riding snow machines. We had a huge piece of property in Rigby. So my grandpa back in the day owned, a large chunk of land and kind of pieced it
Hmm.
apart. And then, so my grandpa and grandma were at one end and we were at the other, and the cousins were in between.
Hmm.
And so it was constantly just cousins hanging out all day. And, we couldn't afford fancy new snow machines. So my dad is a mechanic. And so he would Frankenstein a
Okay.
snow machine together for us. And we didn't know anything different. We had a fun. So we had
Mm,
fun, and so we would take the snow machines out
mhm.
and build kind of a track. And I would ride snow machines down the canal for all day. I'd be out all day just riding snow machines. So
You
that's my favorite memory is riding snow machines and motorcycles with my cousins.
And so my question concerning that memory is, how has that memory helped motivate you today or shape you today as the person that you are? I'm assuming you love the outdoors. So
Yes.
so how has that memory kind of helped you navigate through life?
Sure. It was just an example of how I was raised. You work hard and you play hard, and you
Mm-hmm.
do both very well.
Yeah.
So I was raised in Rigby, and I was raised on a farm with 200 rabbits, and so it was work. Um, my dad, he and my mom built a log house by their bare hands for 5.5 years. It took them to build that log house, and so I learned to put in the work, no matter how long it takes, no matter how challenging it is, even if you only have your family to work on it. Most of the time, it was me and my brother and my mom and dad. And I have pictures of my mom skinning logs by
Oh,
hand.
oh, okay.
Yeah, she was real buff. She was tan and built because she had skinned all those logs by hand.
Wow.
So I learned also to take a break and take a breather
Mhm.
and go do something fun and spend time together as a family. Even if you don't have a lot of money, you find a way. It doesn't take money to have a good time, and you just go out in nature and you fish or you hunt or you piece together snow machines. So yeah,
Okay. So your parents were definitely an example to you concerning work ethics and what
yes,
it means to work hard and
yes,
to build and that's awesome. So many, there could be somebody that's watching this video today that are with all the things that's going on in the world, right? And we won't get into all of those things,
mm-hmm,
but it's easy in this day and time to lose hope, or to become discouraged, or to the minute they hear the word no, they just fall apart, or they
mm-hmm,
don't try and move forward. But what you're saying through your childhood, that your parents were a great example for what it means to work hard, even in the worst situation,
mm-hmm.
they persevered and worked hard.
Yeah, they did. They finished the house. It took 5.5 years because my dad worked full time. My mom, eventually, when I got into school, she also worked full time.
Okay.
But yeah, he would have Sundays and Thursdays off, and every Thursday and Sunday, we were usually building on that house. So we got it done.
Right. And videos like this, presentations like this, why I believe conversation is that building of that house,
Uh-huh.
right? One foundation
Yep.
at a time, at a time, at a time. And so once again, I'm just so glad that you're here with us to share because, like I said, there's someone out there that's losing hope.
Hmm.
Or discouraged in one way or the other, or suicidal. We don't know,
Yeah.
but but it's good that we can have discussions concerning what it means to persevere.
Hmm.
And if you hold on, that you can make it and you can eventually build this house,
Yep.
right? Whether it's a physical house that we walk into, or it just even on in our own personal growth
Hmm.
to build and to lay that foundation. Um, and so speaking of perseverance. I pulled this quote out of a book, one of my favorite books, Mark Nepo, The Book of Awakening, page 34. Please get that book if you haven't got that book. I believe it's in Barnes& and Noble right now, but he is one of my favorite poets. And I was late at night, kind of just going over our notes and kind of thinking about our interview, and flipped open the book and came across this page. So I wanted to share this
Yeah.
passage with you and then and discuss it.
Okay.
So it says, to journey without being changed is to be a nomad. So, of course, I had to pull the dictionary out to kind of look at these words
Yeah.
to help make sense of what the author is saying. So, I'm going to say that again. To journey without being changed is to be a nomad. And a nomad, according to the dictionary, is a person who does not stay long in the same place.
Hmm.
They wander
Hmm.
about.
Mhm.
That's a nomad. And it also goes on to say to change without journey is to be a chameleon. And so, of course, a chameleon is a lizard
Mhm.
that changes color whatever it lands on.
Uh-huh.
So if it's green, it turns green. If it's brown, it turns
Yep.
brown. But and this is the part that really stood out to me: to journey and to be transformed
Mhm.
by the journey
Mhm.
is to be a pilgrim. And the definition of a pilgrim is a person who traveled to a holy place to receive something, to
Mhm.
receive some transformation. So, my question to you is, how has your journey transformed you to be the pilgrim you are today?
Great question. Wow, I like it. Um, I once had somebody say, it was one of the kids. One of our kids was they were frozen on deciding on what to do in life, right? Because
Okay.
they're early 20s, all of them. And they're like, well, I can't see why going to college right now when I can't decide what I'm going to be at the end of the journey.
Hmm.
And we kept trying to, my husband and I, explain to them that it doesn't matter. That changes constantly. You just need to take that first step.
Hmm.
Even if, for example, I went into medical assisting, that was all I wanted to be was a nurse.
Hmm.
Um, and I did that for a little while, and I did that for about, I don't know, 12 years, and I gained experience from that. It was part of my journey.
Hmm.
But then I switched, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm growing anymore. I went back to school. I went to school online and got my business degree, and it just kept advancing. And then I went into advertising and marketing, which is completely different
Hmm.
than the medical field. And so, but each of those positions that I've had, or each of those relationships that I've had over the years, has made me better now.
Okay.
If it's come into play now, it's just built on top of it. The relationships that I've worked with,
Hmm.
the knowledge that I've gained, the even the I'm not gonna do that again
Yeah.
type of thing.
Trust me, I understand.
I
I
tried
do.
it and went, no, that's not the direction for me. It doesn't mean that I went the wrong direction. It's just I needed to redirect. And sometimes you need to step backwards to move forward. And that's all part of the journey. It's part of the progress. It's part of
Mhm.
where I think we're all meant to be. It's just when you get stuck in those challenges of life that
Right.
get thrown your way, because we
Right.
all have them,
We do.
then you beat yourself up, and
Right.
then and you don't see it until you get beyond. It's giving that hope to people to, you might have a challenge today, but hold on. It's not always going to be like this right now.
Right.
So it's just having that faith and
Mhm.
believing that this is the path and the direction I was meant to go, and to
Mhm.
I'm a praying person,
Uh-huh.
so just to pray about
It's
it
important, yeah.
and to go that way. So
Right.
hopefully that it addresses your
Yeah,
question,
it
or do you
it,
have?
it does. And I wanted to go on further by asking the question because you said something very important that you recognized that you weren't growing
Mhm.
where you were. So tell us more about what was that like for you? How did you know? Oh, because somebody could be watching. It's like, how do you know that
Yeah.
you're not growing? How do you know that? So what was that like for you? How did you know that this path wasn't the right one and I needed to go here?
Resistance. I
Okay,
think if you're going one direction and it's nothing but resistance,
I see.
that's when you need to reevaluate. That's how I've done it in life, and step back and go, okay, is it me? Is it the situation? Is it, to really look at everything and see. Um, I just keep getting met with resistance. Something's not right,
I
or
see.
I feel the need to do something more, and
I
I wasn't
see.
able to do it. And a couple of situations it was where my employer wasn't ready for me to take the next step, but I was.
Mm.
So for a time there, I was a single mom,
Okay.
and I wasn't paid very well for a single mom,
Right.
and
I
so
see.
part of that helped make that decision. I needed to go back to school in order
Mhm.
to advance in the career that I wanted to advance in.
So you realized then that you were not in the right place
Yeah.
that motivated or nurture.
Yes.
Just like like where we are today, right? We need sun, we need rain
Hmm.
to have trees. So these trees are in the right place, right, to get the things that they need to continue growing.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that you were in a place that did not uh, or weren't able to or willing to celebrate you advancing. You had to step up and recognize it within yourself
Yeah.
that I am not growing where I am
Hmm.
and I need to move forward
Yes. Yep.
with or without you.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
And all of them have been great. I mean, I'm
right.
still, still
Uh-huh.
friends with those people I was working with before.
Uh-huh.
In fact, one of my best friends
Yeah.
is at that place I'm referring to.
Okay.
And yeah, we still talk about it with positive. So it was just time for me to move on.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Um, so I have another question for you. What is the most unexpected piece of advice you ever received? And
Oh,
then how has that helped you make the decision to move forward or motivated you to become the person that you are today? Because you're a great woman in my eyes. And
thank
so
you.
what was that piece of advice that was given to you? You know, I work at the Idaho Falls YMCA, Idaho Falls Family YMCA, and you know, we are surrounded by coaches and trainers
Hmm.
and things like that. So who was that coach or that trainer or that person that gave you the advice or the assurance that you needed to say within yourself, you know what,
Yeah.
Kerry, I can do this. I
Hmm.
can move forward.
That's funny you ask. That the immediate person I thought of was my husband, Jim.
Okay. Okay.
Who is, of course, my confidant, my mentor, my first
Hmm.
person I go to.
Hmm.
So we were friends back then. We weren't married yet, and
Uh-huh.
I had a huge decision to make, either to take an advancement in a current job I was working for,
Hmm.
or to go a completely different direction that was frightening to me, which was actually working for the city of Idaho Falls as a public information officer. I had never done that before. I had never gone on camera. I'm by nature a shy introvert.
Yeah.
And so,
And here you are right in
yeah,
front of
here
the
I am
camera.
in front of the camera again. So I was like, I can't do that. I don't have training in this. And he
Right.
was like, well, get it.
Right.
I mean, it sounds simple, but he
Right.
was just like, why can't you do this? And I'm like,
Right.
well, I have no skills in this. And he's like, go find it. Go
Right.
research it. Go find it. If you want to do it, he's like, if you're nervous and you're scared, but you're excited at the same time,
Mhm.
do it. If there's no reason that you can find to say no, do it.
Right.
And so I did it, and it was one of the best career changes I have ever made.
Mhm.
Yeah, I learned so much working for the city. So
Oh, wonderful.
yeah,
And you know what? And it takes that, don't it? It takes,
yeah,
and you said it's something simple.
yeah.
You know, wasn't like
Mm-mm.
God or you know whatever you
No.
believe in. If you want me to change, blank the lights 2 times. I probably would take off running. Yeah, I probably take off running. But you know, but you said something
Simple.
just simple to say, just do it,
Just try it.
just try it.
Try it. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
Is what he often says. What's the worst that can happen? I'm usually like, yep, you're right again.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, you know, and that brought my mind because I was just thinking about the same thing. You know, my grandmother, we call her Big Mama. You know, back in the South, you know, she was always that one to help to motivate me to say, Donovan, you can do this. You can, you know, you can get your good grades. You can, because I was mediocre, you know, in
Yeah.
school, you know, but she said, you know what, you can do this. You know, get through it. You'll be all right. You
Hmm.
know, just keep pushing and keep trying. And so. So we are just grateful for those mentors in our
Yes.
life, right?
Yeah.
To give
We
us
need
that
them.
little nudge
Uh-huh.
along the way, because we need that
Yeah.
on this journey. The
Yeah.
journey can be long and hard and sometimes painful and lonely, but we always need that nudge. You know, I was thinking about the Wizard of Oz. You know, Dorothy is, you know, she's displaced,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
You know, she's in this tornado and this storm, and she's trying to get back home. And then along the way, she meets these individuals, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the
Hmm.
Lion, you know, and they link arms, right? We all
Yep.
have to see the wizard, right? And so we always need those individuals along the way to lock arms with
Uh-huh.
us and help us get through the yellow brick road,
Yep.
you know, of life. And so, so what do you feel out of all of that? Um, what do you feel like what is your purpose? What do you feel is your
Oh,
purpose
that
on
is
this
a
planet?
big
That
question.
is a big, yeah, it is. What is your purpose here on this planet? And why do you feel that way?
The top thing that comes to my mind is to leave things better than I found them
Okay.
in some fashion, um, within my own circle of influence, right?
Okay.
We all want to make big changes,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a huge bite. That's a huge chunk to take. There's so much going on that I would love to be able to go like that with
Right.
society
Yeah.
and have it changed. But
Click our heels
yeah,
and then like Dorothy or the
like
Wizard of
Dorothy,
Oz.
yes,
Yeah.
please.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, leaving things better than I found it. I mean, it sounds pretty simple.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes that's just whether internally, at the position I'm at or in my community, or, I may not be able to do a whole lot, but I can, volunteer with Rotary and do a cleanup project for 4 hours in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if I go camping, one of the things as a family we always say is leave things better than you found them. Pick up trash,
Mm-hmm.
if, walk out with more than you brought in,
I
pick
see.
up the trash and just leave it better than what you found it.
Right.
So I don't know if that's exactly what you're looking for, but and of course that reflects on my business and my personal
Sure.
too, as a
Sure.
mom, as a daughter, as
Mm.
so there's different elements. So I
Yeah.
don't know exactly what my purpose is, but that's my guide, is to leave it better than what
Right.
I found it.
Right. Well, you're
So
definitely doing that. So that's why
thank
we're having
you.
this interview. So you're definitely doing that. So I think you're in your purpose right now,
Yeah, thank you.
just being who you are and the things that you have done and the things that you're doing. And I can imagine perhaps not always easy. Sometimes
No.
all we see is the out front person, the smiles,
Uh-huh.
but there's always a behind the closed doors,
Uh-huh.
you know, um, experience that we go through to help us become who we are
Yeah.
today. And so,
My husband calls it duck on a pond.
it's-
So you see him just floating right at the top, but
right.
underneath they're really going.
That's a good way to put it. That's a
Yeah,
good way to put it.
exactly.
Just
So
sliding along the way, and
just
then those
everything's
little
fine. Your
feet
feet
just.
are just.
I'm gonna be thinking about that all day
Yep.
now.
Yep.
And so, and the good thing about it is that you have the support around you that see not just what's on the surface, but see the movement
Mhm.
that's going on underwater.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so many people don't have the support. And I think
Yeah.
that's a lot of what some of the issues that we're having in the world today, with suicide or, you know, domestic violence, whatever the case may be, people are just don't have the support
Yeah.
that they're needing. And so it's important that, if you're in that situation or, to reach out to a friend, to make a phone call, to build those connections, because it's so important to have
Very.
that support in a
Yeah.
world that sometimes may not be as kind, you know, but, so those things are very important. Um, the Idaho Falls Family YMCA, our core values are caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility.
Mhm.
Again, caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. What is your core value?
My core value, I would have to say trust and honesty.
And why is that? Why does that stand out to you more than anything else?
Back to the foundation, right? We
Right.
talked about building the house.
Exactly.
You've got to have that solid foundation to build from, because if you don't have that trusting relationships with people you're in your immediate sphere, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to do anything else if that trust and that respect, as
Right.
you say, is not there. And the responsibility, I would have to say, mine align right along with YMCA. So,
Yeah.
and I was in the fire service too. So part of the reason I went into the fire service is because of those core values of, integrity and honesty and hard work and responsibility, and you just step up and get things done.
Yeah.
So, but I would have to say honesty and trust are in the
Understand.
center of that.
Yeah. And it's important to even with the building of that house, that log cabin or that
Yeah.
that house is the foundation must be secure
Yeah.
and strong enough to hold up
Yep.
everything that comes
Mhm.
along with it. And sometimes the foundation in people's lives can be pulled from under them, right? We, like I said before, we have so many issues and things that's going on in the world today, and life is so short. You know, we're here today and gone today, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. One of the reasons why I love flowers is because I've been to so many funerals.
Mm.
And one of the things I take note, I'm just sitting there because I'm a people watcher by nature.
Yeah.
And one of the things I take note of is all of the flowers that people
Mm-hmm.
give, you know, to the person who have passed away. Um, and I always wonder, why is that? Why do we do that? And I was just thinking, you know, I believe in some cases it's a way for the person to perhaps no longer feel guilty for not reaching out while the person is alive, and this is my way. And the person, right, and the
Yeah.
person that deceased can't come back and say, you were not
You
there.
were not
What are
there.
you
Why do
up
you
there
bring me
giving?
flowers?
Yeah, and you gonna get up there and do 2 minutes on, yeah, and you even every time I call, you didn't even pick up your phone. And nothing. But I love flowers because, um, you know, they all start off as a seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we dig this dirt, and then we throw that seed into the earth, and we have the audacity to cover it. You know, we in total darkness,
Mm-hmm.
but it is what the seed need to become this.
Yeah. Yep. I like that.
It needs
Mm-hmm.
that, right? And it germinates, and it becomes irritable
Mm-hmm.
and uncomfortable until it starts to shed its shell, so that new life can come out, and then we have this. And so you remind me of that type of person, like these flowers. How, you know, just from listening to you and the things that you've had to go through. Because I've followed you for a while now,
Mm-hmm.
just not until now, and I've just admire how strong of a woman you are, you know, and how much of a person that you represent to everyone out there in the community and in the world, how um, you can be if you persevere and you
Mm-hmm.
go through this
Mm-hmm.
suffering, that you can bloom like these beautiful flowers.
Yes.
But you got to stay there, right? You can't remove yourself from the dynamic. You have to remain there. As challenging as it is, you have to stay there to grow, to
Yeah.
learn
Yep.
about yourself. Because, I mean, you can, you know, people can do this, right? We don't learn a lot. I mean, it's good to get pats on the back and say, "Oh, you're doing such a great job," um, but you really don't learn a lot about yourself until you actually go through something. And
It's the challenging parts that's where we learn the most and we grow the most. And it's
exactly,
painful. It's so painful.
it is. It
But
is.
yeah, yeah. I can't. Back in high school, I was the kid that was in the hallway with my head down. I wouldn't look anybody in the eye. I was so shy. So it was a it was a struggle for me to come out and
Hmm.
not just have the
The little duck that's
the little
swimming,
duck
that's
swimming.
swimming along the way. Yeah, yeah. And so now you are the executive director.
Hmm.
After all of that you went through, you are now the executive director for the Idaho Falls Downtown
Hmm.
Development Corporation.
Hmm.
So how are you now? How are you feeling in your this role that you have accepted?
It's that I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. There's some days, there are some moments I'm like, what? You know,
We
all of
have
us
those
have
moments.
those moments.
Yes, we
But
do.
I knew my former director that I worked with before. We worked
Hmm.
together for about 6 months.
Okay.
Fantastic human being. Him and I
Yes.
worked together very well.
Yes, I know who that is.
Yeah,
Yes.
yep. We had a jive, right? You
Uh-huh.
just work with that person, and he had given me advance notice that he was going to be leaving, and he's like, "You should really consider." I was like, well, I don't know. I just,
Uh-huh.
kind of figuring out the current role that I'm in over here at Idaho Falls Downtown Development. So,
Uh-huh.
um, he's like, "No, I think you." And again, it was just somebody, really you should try. And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
sure." So it's a natural role. Most of that is because I worked for the city for 10 years,
Okay.
and I worked for every single department in some fashion. I had my primary responsibilities with certain departments,
Hmm.
but I worked with police and fire and parks and rec and airport, and And so sitting in city council meetings for 5 years solid, 6 years, I think I went
Okay.
on a regular basis. I went to every single one because
Mhm.
I had to know what was going on. So the media, when they called me the next day, I could
Yes.
answer
You're
their
right.
questions, you know? And that was overwhelming at the beginning, but then I look back on it now and it makes sense to me, this position now. The
Mhm.
journey that I took through the city and the training and the mentorship
Mhm.
that I got with the directors was there was a reason for it, and they've all taught me. I've learned something from every city director and built on those skills and that knowledge, and now I'm applying it with downtown development. So it felt natural. You know, there were many times former directors presented in front of city council
Uh-huh.
about downtown development, and I learned. So I learned the history
Right.
through them, just sitting there absorbing
Mhm.
all of that information. Granted, there's so much in my head that I can't
Uh-huh.
remember all of it,
I can
but
imagine.
um, yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm comfortable in it. Yes, there are certain things that I'm still learning, and I
Sure.
hope that I continue to learn. I don't
Right.
want to ever get to a point where
Right.
it's stagnant and we're doing things just because we've always done them.
Right.
So right now, I'm giving myself a year to
Okay.
really understand the position and
Mhm.
all the events and everything involved,
Mhm.
and then I would love to build upon that and make it stronger and leave it better than I found it. And not
Yeah.
that it was in any poor condition
Right.
before,
Right.
but if I can make some kind of change,
Right.
then it's worth it. I've
Right.
done what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So
That's why I call you the Idaho Fall Pilgrim.
thank you. I like that.
You're on a journey of
Yes,
transformation. And so that's why I
exactly.
call you the Pilgrim of Idaho Falls. And so I did go on the website and looked at the mission and goal
Mm-hmm.
of the Idaho Falls Downtown Development Corporation. And one of the things that I wrote this down directly from the website. It says the advancement of this historical downtown as a regional center for commerce, culture, leisure, activities for residents and visitors.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question to you is, coming from Charleston, South Carolina,
A little
and
bit bigger, just a little bit.
just a little bit bigger, and moving, which I did live in Colorado Springs before I moved here,
Uh-huh.
but living in a place that, and I say this very carefully,
Mm-hmm.
um, that perhaps lacks some level of diversity.
Yes.
How do you address that um, concerning your, in your new role? And
Mm-hmm.
granted, I know you're new in this role, and I'm not sure if you heard this before, but do you feel or see that we are as diverse as we can be or could be? And how do you see your role in that as far as maybe creating a culture that is welcoming to everyone?
Sure. It's listening.
Mm-hmm.
It starts by listening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because obviously I'm from here.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've lived here my entire life.
Right.
And so, yes, I've traveled, but I've never lived outside of Idaho Falls, Rigby, Pocatello area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I try to take back when we do travel is to go to certain places and bring that back or learn something from when I do travel. So I am aware of some of those issues that
Uh-huh.
you mentioned, and it
Right.
is a topic that we have to handle gently,
Yes.
and know we have to do it with time
Right.
and with patience.
Right.
Um, I mean, we've got a lot of our downtown merchants, you know, we've got a lot of history. We've got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of generational businesses
Yeah.
that have been, you know, downtown. And so it's listening to their needs, but also listening to the needs of people that are coming into downtown
Mm-hmm.
or want to do something different or, you know, being flexible, working within the boundaries that we can work within,
Mm-hmm.
but also being flexible to go, okay, how can we make this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it. Let's sit
Right.
down and talk about it.
Right.
So it's just listening and trying to come to a place of understanding. You know, working for public safety, working with police and fire,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things, you know, we have to stop and look at too when dealing with public safety and what
Mm-hmm.
happens within public safety and those challenges is to really listen to people and figure out where they're coming from and why are they feeling this certain way, or why are they angry, or why are they frustrated, and then trying to work together to address it. It may take time. It may be
Right.
something we can do right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that do just take time, and you persevere. You just
Mm-hmm.
keep moving forward, even as discouraging as it can be sometimes. But bringing culture down to Idaho Falls and doing things different
Mm-hmm.
is great. I love it. I
Right.
love when people call and say, "I have an idea." Great, come in and sit down. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Because I want to make change. I don't want to do things just because we've always done them. But if they are working, great.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue
Mm-hmm.
them. Let's enhance them. Let's make them
Right.
better. Just like downtown, right?
Right.
There's the foundation there, and there's so much history and
Mm-hmm.
stuff that I'm still learning. I thought I
Right.
knew quite a bit about downtown, but can we keep that? Can we preserve that history? And yes, we can, but we can build upon it. We can make it better,
Mm-hmm.
so
And
that's the
that's
answer.
very interesting. You said the key word listening,
Listening.
right? And I like the fact that you're attuned and attentive to the needs of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That even in travel, that you're bringing something back. You're bringing a
Yeah.
nugget back, and gathering it here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in hopes of making a difference, because being a Black American living in Idaho Falls, which I think is a great place. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I go downtown all the time. I have met some great friends just downtown. But you also hear, that
Yes.
listening, you also hear
Yes.
some of the issues that surrounding
Uh-huh.
lack of diversity and things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. And so, but I'm glad that we are on that path to have that discussion, and having an open door policy too, to say, hey, if you got any ideas, bring
Yeah,
it to
bring it.
bring it to the table,
Yep.
and let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Let's see what
Yep.
we can do to make sure that no one feels
Mm-hmm.
neglected or
Mm-hmm.
left behind. Anyway, and so definitely appreciate that. One of the other things I also looked at, it was the goals of downtown, and it's a couple of nuggets here. It says branding downtown, gateway signage.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is gateway signage?
So signage, thankfully,
Uh-huh.
I had an opportunity to be part of the when we rebranded the city.
Okay.
We went from having the city seal on everything, which is the official seal, and
Okay.
the city still uses that on official documents.
Okay.
But they wanted to change kind of the branding and the wayfinding,
Okay.
so that when visitors came to Idaho Falls, we knew what the Greenbelt was.
Okay.
But if you translate Greenbelt
Mm-hmm.
into a different language, it's not going to come out right. They're going to go,
Right.
what?
Uh-huh.
So that's why, the example, the city changed the Greenbelt to Riverwalk
Okay.
because
I
it
didn't know that.
translates differently.
Okay.
So when I write it, I usually write the Greenbelt Riverwalk or vice versa, because
Okay.
I know here locally people know it as the Greenbelt.
Okay. Right.
But you have to change that wayfinding so it makes sense not to us. We know where we're going and we know how to find our way,
Right.
but it makes sense for others that are coming in to visit. So as part of that team led by the former director of the Idaho Falls Parks and Rec Department, he kind of
Okay.
helped with that wayfinding. And
Okay.
so the signs that you see at the entrance, the gateways, into Idaho Falls, we want people to find their way around easily and go to where the attractions are, the zoo. And so the wayfinding signs that you see, that's part of the city's wayfinding. And I was fortunate to be on that to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because we hired somebody from Hunt Design out of
Okay.
California to do that wayfinding project. And so I learned from them from the beginning of the end of that process. It was quite painful. It was a great process, but it is hard to change some things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I want to incorporate some of that into, parking. Parking
Okay.
downtown is always a topic,
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
is
yeah.
confusing. It's confusing to me still. I'm still learning it,
I got a
Um,
couple of tickets downtown,
yes.
but I paid them all.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I paid them all.
So we need to show people where to park. Where's the free parking? Where's the
Uh-huh.
parking lots? And so we know those changes need to be made, and those
Mhm.
we need to make some updates. We need to make improvements on that.
Right. And there was some others also, business recruitment, retention,
hmm
increased downtown visitors, shoppers, community feel among merchants, and building owners, improve Broadway corridor,
Mhm.
identifying infrastructure improvement, and then host multiple events.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so those are a lot of the goals that were listed on your website concerning. So tell me more about the because we just had an event
Yes.
last weekend.
Summer
Right?
Brew, Saturday.
Summer Brew.
Summer Brew was
Summer Brew.
Saturday.
Okay.
So yeah, we started doing a lot more events. I'm told that's primarily thanks to Chrissy Staten. She was
Okay.
the director of downtown development for a while, and she brought in quite a bit of those events. So we have, events that are geared more towards adults, like St. Patty's on Park.
Okay.
That's one of our bigger events. Oktoberfest is another one we do on Park. We do quite a few of our events on Broadway Plaza. We
Okay.
try to change up the locations a little bit
Okay.
because the intent and the purpose of those events is to not only educate people about downtown and get them down there, but we're hoping they'll also shop down there.
I see. Yeah.
Go to dinner before you come to our event, or if you need to pick up that birthday gift for somebody, go do that while you're down here. And so the purpose of those events is to bring people downtown and get them familiar. And it's not just for adults, but also we have a teen event. It's a back to school disco that we do in August.
Oh, okay.
We have kid related events. Find Santa's puppy and find the Easter bunny, during the holidays. And so it's getting the kids down here too to learn more and to be downtown and get familiar with downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like I said, I participate in a lot of the downtown activities, and so I'm just appreciative because being a single person, that's important. Right, for single people like myself, and this is not a pun. I'm not trying to find, but it gives us singles something to do. So
Place to
definitely,
meet.
yeah. So I appreciate all of the activities and events that's put on. I really appreciate that. Our summers are not very long, and so anytime when you can put on events and stuff like that to get people out and about and socialize them, we're too busy on our phones and.
Remove yourself.
Dating apps. You can whatever. I mean,
I've never thankfully had to do an app. I don't know how I would do it with an app if I had to. It's a little frightening, but
I won't recommend it to anybody. But but it's good to have those activities going on downtown to give us something to do and keep us busy and develop more friendships.
Yeah.
And
that's how we met, I believe, as
yes.
downtown somewhere.
Yes,
I'm like,
we
I
did.
like him.
Yes.
I'm going to go make friends with him.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So I have another question for you. What do you consider your biggest regret in life?
Oh, my. Whew, you asked some good questions.
Yeah. What
Biggest regret.
Yeah. Is there a regret in your life that you just like? Man, I regret that, or
Obviously, I mean, there are mistakes that I've made that I'm like, ooh, I probably should not have done that. But it also taught me. It was also a lesson. Right. So there's nothing that really stands out where I'm like, ooh, probably shouldn't have done that. Significantly, there's little ones, but nothing really stands out. I'll have to think of. Yeah, I'll think on that for a minute.
It'll come to you at midnight. Like, I should have said that earlier.
I'm gonna text you when it does.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Because some people get stuck in the regret, right? And it's like a quicksand, because they made a mistake or they made an error. Of course, why believe conversation is designed to uplift and encourage. And so, sometimes we can get stuck. And this thing I can think about in my past, that if I stay there too long, that I will find myself like a nomad, or like this chameleon, not moving, not being a pilgrim, not going along my journey and transforming along the way. And so that's one of the reasons why I asked that question, because some people can get stuck in the regret or the mistake that they cannot, like those, I'm not sure we can see, but like these big boulders here, they get stuck like these boulders, these rocks, and they won't move. And so that is something that we all have to look at, I think, sometime, to say, you can move beyond that. You don't get stuck there. That's not, your environment doesn't dictate who you are as a person. as a
right.
human being.
You know, and one of the things that comes to mind, I think when I worked for the city, being a public information officer was who I was. I mean, I was
Mm,
doing it
mhm,
24/7. Um, I, if there's some regret to that,
mhm.
um, it's not finding work-life balance sooner.
I see.
Um, because when you work, God bless every single human that works in public safety, but
Mhm,
it is incredibly challenging and hard to watch on a regular basis,
mhm.
because you see the worst of worst in people. You see some pretty nasty situations, and I was constantly bombarded by negativity.
I see.
Part of being a public information officer is you pay attention to the media, you watch,
Mhm,
right? Because you got to make corrections if there's corrections, or
mhm.
you got to monitor what's going on, nationally to see how that's going to affect locally.
Right.
And so, the regret question, that's what I
Uh-huh.
think of is I didn't find that work-life balance soon enough,
I see.
and I had to step away,
I
and
see.
that was hard for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good to recognize it too,
Right.
to say it, to admit it, to
Mhm.
I think that's a part of the healing
Yeah.
process to move forward is to say, "Yep, that was me. Not me now.
Yeah.
But um, that happened and I regret that, but I am in a much better place now and I'm moving forward.
Yep.
I'm leaving the
Mm.
past behind
Yep.
me. I'm using it. I heard um, this person say that the two things that we do not have, we don't have the past. We don't have the past because although things back there could have been painful, we can't go back there and clean
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You can't clean it up. We don't have that. And we don't have tomorrow,
Mhm.
right? We don't have tomorrow.
Yeah.
We can do all the planning we want today for tomorrow, but there's no guarantee that we will see it. So
Mhm.
what's most important is right now,
Yeah. Yep.
this moment, these conversations, right?
Mhm.
That's what's important. And
Yep.
so, but people get stuck back there,
Mhm.
and it's hard for them to move forward. They don't see their future. They can't see it because they're so stuck on. I can't believe that happened, or I can't believe um, I did that. And I believe that sometimes we stand in need to forgive, and we also stand in need to be forgiven.
Yes.
And so
Uh-huh.
I played on both sides of that field, and so I appreciate that.
Mhm.
So what final piece of advice would you have for those who are watching this Why Believe conversation?
I think what comes to the top of my mind is give yourself some grace. Give yourself some
That's a
grace.
good one.
Yeah, because especially if you're a type A personality
Yeah,
like myself,
yeah,
um, you're pretty hard on yourself.
yeah.
You know, if you say the wrong thing, or do the wrong thing, or I was constantly beating myself up for not doing something. I should have said it this way. I should have done it this way.
Yeah,
When at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
yeah,
It really didn't. Yes, I messed up somehow, but
right.
who doesn't mess
Who
up?
doesn't?
Who doesn't
Except
mess
you,
up?
yeah.
So, yeah, I would have to say give yourself some grace. You're gonna have to sit in emotion sometimes. Sometimes there is yucky stuff that you would rather not deal with. You would rather just move on, instead of addressing it.
Mhm.
This is very real in public safety, especially.
I see.
You go on one bad call, and 5 minutes later, you're going on another bad call, and then you're going on another bad call, and you're not addressing things.
Mhm.
I did that.
Okay.
So if I had anything, I hope people can learn from me. I've taught other PIOs, and that's one of the things when I left that position was, I told another person, a PIO that I know, I'm like, don't do this.
Mhm.
Take time for yourself. You've got to disconnect completely. Go out into nature. Put the phone down.
Mm.
Go back to the foundation, go back to Frankensteining
Mhm.
snow machines together,
Yeah.
and, going out with your family and riding
Yes.
snow machines, whatever it is that makes you smile or makes you um, come to life, do that. And
Mm.
so, and that's what I did when I left that position, and I gave myself grace, and I actually gave myself 6 months of
Okay.
not. not doing anything and figuring out, because I almost lost my life because of it. And so I will not go back there again. And I made that very clear when I started working at this job, that I work 40 to 50 hours a week, maybe if we have an event, but my time and my, time with my family is incredibly valuable. So I will work real hard for 40 to 50 hours. And then, so self-care, take care of yourself. And reach
Awesome.
out to your support team too.
Awesome. And this is our final question.
Yes, sir.
And you did a great job, by
Thank
the
you.
way. Final question, and this is a question I ask everyone at the end of our Why
Okay.
Believe segment. What brings you joy?
What brings me joy?
What brings you joy?
Professionally is putting together the events and watching people have a great time, laughing and having a good time. So and people enjoying the river gardens, pulling weeds and stuff down here, and then watching people have a good time. But what brings me joy? Music. I love music. I love listening to you sing. I love to listen to my family sing. I have lots of musicians in the family, local musicians. I like to spend time with my family and my friends in my close circle and really have quality time and building memories. That's what and nature. If I can get it all in one, my family, we have a huge family reunion, about 200 people, and that comes to mind when I think of joy. Yep.
Well, thank you, Kerry.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us today. And if you have any more information or learn more about what's happening downtown in Idaho Falls, feel free to give us a call or give you a call at 208-535-0399. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then we'll have that information below on our Why Believe segment. And then for more information, they can go to info@downtownidaho.falls.com.
Correct.
Is that correct? And we'll have that posted also. And if you have any questions about the Idaho Falls Family YMCA, please feel free to give us a call at 208-523-0600 extension 1, or visit us online at www.idahofallsymca.org. That's idahofallsymca.org. And we will see you next time on Why Believe Conversation. And I hope that what you heard today was uplifting and encouraging to you to move forward and become the person that you were meant to be. Take care and see you soon. Thank you.